Hey,
Hi.
Cindy.
Hey, T Money. You don't mind if I call you T Money, do you?
After today, you can call me anything you like.
Why's that? T Money? Tell the people.
Tell the people. So, ladies and
Tell.
gentlemen, this
Yeah.
is a life lesson in writing things down in your calendar so you don't forget them.
Uh, I
So,
fr-
Cindy and I over
yeah.
here, Cindy Lou over here,
Hmm.
make it really clear. Every Thursday we film, same time, same place. It's not like anything changes. 10:30, I get a call from Cindy or a message. Hey, are we ready? And I'm in an Uber away from home, and
Mm,
I completely muffed it, and I forgot. And yeah, Cindy,
thanks a lot.
graciously enough, staying up late just to chat with me, and I don't even deserve it.
Well, as long as you recognize the fact that you don't deserve it, then I think we're all right.
Cindy, you're too good for me. You're way you give me. You just I don't deserve you today. That's the truth.
No, you don't, but that's all right. Well, but we'll lessons were learned today, and we'll move on from it. We grow as humans, and I think we can. I think this will make our relationship stronger.
I hope
Basically,
so. I
yeah,
hope so.
definitely.
You know, it's not like I've never made this mistake before with like the calendar thing.
No,
And it's just like I don't know, just got to get better organized with such things.
it's a challenge. Well, you're busy. You have a lot going on. There's a lot of things happening in your world right now. I'm
Yeah.
imagining this is a very busy week leading up to some. There's something going on this week. I'm not sure what was it again. Do you have a party to go to, or a birthday, or well, there's something, right? Something in your life that's happening this week.
Tell me I've never been or tell me I've barely been a part of finals football without telling me I've barely been a part of finals football.
I mean, how excited are you? Are you dying? Are you sleeping at night?
No, I'm not. I'm
Wow.
I'm calm. I've been calm.
Yeah.
Um, there's been it's been new. Like there's a whole lot of different things coming at me this week that I'm not used to because I'm just not used to. I'm used to now taking a breath, thinking about trade period, draft period,
Yeah.
reviewing the season,
What
and
went
so
wrong?
yeah, what went wrong? How are we going to
Right.
make it better? Um, I think tomorrow morning when I wake up, it's going to be real. I think tonight, because tonight is the first final, Collingwood and Melbourne, and
Oh,
I think
okay. Yes. Tonight. Tonight. Oh, yeah. It's like 3 in the morning here. It gets a
yeah,
little confusing. Yeah.
yeah. So I think once I watch that game, and then it starts getting real,
Yeah.
and then I think tomorrow, um, once I wake up, game day post will go out, and then it's like, oh shit, it's real.
Wow.
Um, So, I mean, it's exciting. It is.
Do you have like what's happening before the game? Like how does this go for you? Do you meet your friends first? Do you just go straight to the game? Do you have a ritual that or are you gonna start a ritual? Like what's happening here?
Well, I like to go to the stadium an hour before the bounce and just
Okay.
smell the air.
Okay.
And I think I might do the same tomorrow, maybe a little earlier. The gates
Yeah.
open at 5:30, I believe, and the game starts
Okay.
at 7:50. So I'm probably just going to aim to get there as early as humanly possible and then
Okay.
just kind of stand around, loiter around,
Soak
talk
it
to all
up.
the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's good. It's
Awesome.
also gonna be pissing down rain, which is just
Oh,
very
that's
exciting.
right. Like really you're having extreme weather, right?
Well,
It's like for
it was
days,
sunny
right?
this morning.
It
I woke up
was.
this morning, I was outside in Melbourne in a T-shirt in September, which is not
Oh.
really common,
Yeah.
um, and I think tonight it's gonna pour down rain again, and then I think tomorrow is gonna be pretty much the same. It'll be good morning, and then it'll rain all day, and then we hope that it I don't mind it raining, to be honest. I would
Yeah.
love for it to not rain during the game. I'm happy for
Right.
it to be like a wet game during the game. Just,
Yeah.
get your business done before the bounce.
So what happens like do you go with gear? Do you have like all your rain stuff or do you just like say screw it, I'm just getting wet? Like what do most people do when they go to these games? Since there's no cover, which is something I actually want to talk to you about. But how does someone pack for a footy game where it might be wet?
Well, you wear the right jacket, like a waterproof jacket.
Okay.
I'll probably have a hood on as
Okay.
well,
Yeah.
and then I'll
Do
probably
you
get a
have a
poncho.
baseball cap so you have room, like so your vision is like good from the water coming down? Oh, you should probably bring a cap.
I
I'm
don't wear
thinking.
hats, Cindy.
What? Is
Look at
that
this
weird?
hair. Does this hair look like it needs to be covered up? Come on.
Oh, learning. We're learning about T Dog. Oh, I forgot your T Money now. I'm
T-Money.
just trying it out. I'm not sure if I like it better than T Dog. T
Yeah.
Dog kind of
Tea late.
rolls off the tongue. T
Yeah.
late.
Tea time because
I
he's running
love
out
it.
of it.
Oh my God. All right. So,
But
yeah. All right. So, you got your gear and you're ready to go. Do you drink at the games? Is there alcohol served at the footy?
there is alcohol served at the footy. I
Yeah.
might have, if I ever drink, it's one
Yeah.
beer before the
One beer.
game or maybe
Okay.
during, but I won't need a drink tomorrow. Oh, I actually
You'll
might
let
need
some
a
out.
drink to calm me down. Usually people
It's
drink maybe to
exciting.
like get excited, but
So
man, I've
what's your
waited.
prediction here? What's happening? What's end score? What do you
If
think?
if it dries up and we get the ball a little bit more dry, I think
Yeah.
we're going to take at least a quarter to get accustomed to the new style of football because it elevates.
Okay.
And then I think we'll run away with it in the end. I just think we're too good. We're too
Yeah.
strong, you
Yeah.
know?
I'm
So,
tipping you guys for that game for sure.
yeah.
The other ones
Um,
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about some of the other games, but you guys, I'm feeling pretty good about it actually.
well, I think we might do a little preview slash prediction shortly, but
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, do you know what a poncho is?
A poncho like where you like a rain poncho or like something you put over your head that has no arms?
Yeah.
That kind of
So
poncho?
they are a big part of tomorrow night.
Ah.
They sell them for $5. You just get the poncho, you put it on. Cindy, I've waited 10 years to be in a final, so I don't care if I leave sick, wet, soaking, gum boots. I don't care. Like, I will sit there and brave it.
So wait, are the ponchos like team like are they just like plastic ponchos or do they actually have like Carlton put on them or like
Just plain
plain
plastic
plastic?
ponchos. You put
Okay.
your arms through, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I got it. Yeah, I'm familiar. We
Yeah.
have those too. I don't know if I've ever actually worn one. I
Mm.
bought one. I bought a poncho because I went to Hawaii last year and I thought I might need one. So I actually own one, but I don't think I've ever worn one.
I've
Hopefully
never
one day I'll
worn
have a
one.
reason.
Yeah, I've never worn one at the footy. I've worn one to a part, like a festival, and I've
Yeah.
partied in a poncho. So
Yeah.
that was fun.
All right. Well, tomorrow's your day. All kinds of new things are happening for you tomorrow. Ponchos and
Yeah.
finals footy.
Finals footy.
What more does a boy want?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Nothing. Oh my god.
Nothing at all.
So I have a question for you
Yep.
about the fact that I heard all this muckety muck this week about
Mhm.
putting a roof on the MCG. I think Eddie was talking about it, and I wanted to know how you feel about it. Like, would you be into having a roof? Would you hate it? Would it ruin the game? What are your feelings?
I'm not really a traditionalist, but I think when it comes to the MCG,
Yeah.
I am. Like
Ah.
it's just an open roof stadium. It is what it
Yeah.
is, you know?
Right.
It and I feel like if they were to put a roof on the MCG, then that would mean we have to sit through at least a season, maybe 2 seasons of like construction and like this section and that section,
Mm.
and I don't know. Is that good for the game? Maybe. Ugh.
I don't know. My reaction to it is that no, if it's raining, it's raining. If it's windy, it's windy. Like that's part of it, right? So,
Agreed.
like it's the same thing here. It's like depending on where the teams play. Like if you're playing in Miami, it's going to be humid and the ball might be a little more slippery. If you're playing up north, it might be snowing. Tough shit. You got to win in the snow. And I think it adds that extra like unpredictable, like it's I don't like things too sanitized and too, I don't know. I think it would be boring if every stadium was just indoors and had no surprise elements that would come into
I'm
it.
with
You know what I
you.
mean?
I'm with you. I think that's the Colosseum.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a roof,
Yeah.
and you've got to be able to win in this sport. You've got to be
Yeah.
able to win rain, hail, or shine, and that's part of it.
I think though Eddie was saying, okay, forgive me if I have this upside down. He said something about the south stands need to be updated anyway. So they were like looking at possibilities of when they're fixing that to adding some kind of, is this right? Have you heard this?
I haven't heard that, but
You're
like it
too
does make
busy. You
sense.
what do you know? You haven't been able to keep up, right? No, but I was trying to figure out like even like that, like the idea of the and here's the funny part. It's round, right? The MCG is round. So like how where does the south begin and where does it end? I mean, it's just
Correct.
like and then would it mean would it be done by next season? I mean, I have a lot of questions obviously about
Well,
this.
that's where I sit with it. It's like, yeah, the Great Southern, there is the Great Southern Stand.
Yeah.
It's always going to, I guess, the more we move into the future, the more things are going to need updating. And so
Right, that's
maybe there
true.
will come a time where we put a roof on the G, or maybe even just more roofing. I don't know if you can really, I don't know if we really want to enclose the whole MCG.
Yeah.
Because
Because that
there's,
one of the things they said though, they said, well, maybe we would have it, and this this kind of blew my mind. They said maybe we'd have it where it closes, like, and then opens for game day. So even if it's raining during game day, that's one thing, but like you wouldn't have like several days in a row of a saturated field. And then I thought, well, don't they have drainage? Like, don't isn't there some mechanism in place already to kind of help this? It's not like they're just playing in like ponds of like. Actually, makes me think of a kid like when it would rain so much and there'd be so much water and there'd be tadpoles like running in it. Like it's not going to be that
yeah.
kind of scene, right? I mean,
Well,
you know.
they've updated it, and yeah, there's a really elite drainage system at the
Okay.
MCG.
Yeah.
But my fear is, so they did this with Marvel. Marvel Stadium was opened, and we used to actually go to the footy at Marvel Stadium, and they used to open the roof, and it was
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
And then they just permanently closed the roof. So my
Oh,
fear is if they do this with the MCG, then it's like, oh,
they're just
yeah,
like
yeah, we'll
closing
keep the
it.
roof open, and then they'll close it, and it's like,
Ah.
oh
So
no,
no teams are playing at Marvel this week, right? It's only MCG for these games. Is that
correct.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, but St. Kilda wanted it at Marvel. I'm guessing that's their home ground, right? Is that what the
No, I
why I'm
think
thinking that?
so. St Kilda's a unique one because they're just not too. They're not big enough of a club to draw MCG home games, as many
Oh,
MCG home games in the
okay.
season. But I think every team wants to play at the MCG because grand final day, you need to know how to play the ground.
Yeah,
So, I
exactly.
mean, for them, for the Saints, mate, this is party time. You call home and you bring out the
Yeah.
red panties. It's like, look at us, we're on the G. So
Awesome. Oh, I know. It's really exciting. It's so weird. Like, obviously, last week there was no footy. And
mm,
I, I mean, I have plenty to do in my everyday life, but man, I felt out of sorts. Like, I was just like Saturday wandering around, like, what now? What do what's next? Sunday, we had to go to a like a 20th anniversary of a local restaurant and I was like, "Give me the mic. Let me say I need to say something." Like I felt so disconnected and I thought I was going to be very happy to have like a weekend, kind of just to myself, but man, I was wrong. I have to come up some really good stuff for postseason now because I'm addicted, man. I need the
it's
I
it's
need
hard.
this community, I missed
Yeah,
everybody.
it's hard without it. It really
Yeah.
is. Oh, I think as a creator, like you need a break. And I
Yeah.
definitely enjoyed not being in because you get a little bit frazzled by the end of the season. I find the season is in like 3 or 4 stages. Generally, this year was a bit
Yeah.
different, but like the start of the season is just the greatest thing ever because the hype. preseason, the
Yeah.
training, the photos, the all of that. And then you get to like round 8, round 9, and then there's like the grind. For
Yeah.
Carlton, it was different because we just kept losing.
Oh, yeah,
And
that
then
was
there's
not so
that.
good for you. It
No, it was
was a
awful.
negative time, yeah.
Awful.
A
And
lot
then
of
you get
dark
to the end of the
videos.
season and you start remembering that, oh, it's about to end and I'm gonna miss it again. And then
I
you
know.
sort of you come back to the moment.
I know. It's really nuts. And then obviously things start getting more intense too, because the
Hmm.
beginning of the season you're like, "Ah, that's okay. We've got time." It's like that we've got time up until a point, and then it starts to
Hmm.
feel desperate. Like it's really, yeah. It's been a very exciting season, I'm going to say. I think
Well,
it's had a lot of like interesting twists and turns to the story.
I also think for you, this is season 2023 is like the arrival, no? This is like I think you'll look back on 23 and be like, that was the year where we started and really, really
Yes.
started moving and grooving.
Yeah, well, it's true. We started the show. Speaking of starting the show, I cheated on you over the weekend with the
I
guys
saw.
at Ankle
Don't
Sore.
worry. I saw it.
Yeah, they were fantastic. They were good guys. But one of the guys wasn't there, and he works for the data company. What's it called? Does all the data for the
Champion
games?
data?
Yes, and I was dying. I was like, I have so many questions to ask you. I just I want to know so much about it. And he got called off to like a game in Tasmania to work, so I didn't get it. I'm gonna get to the bottom of some of these questions. I mean, I'm fascinated by the data stuff. It's so crazy to me. Like, how do they do it? Like, is someone sitting there? It's like, okay, you're on hit outs. Okay, you're on, like you're on tackles. You're on it, like, and like all just like marking. I mean, is it all just computerized? Is it AI? I mean, what? How does it happen? I want to
Have you
know.
seen footage of how it happens? Like the
No,
room
that's
where
what I'm
they
saying. I know
Oh,
nothing. I just know.
so
I know how that it's the most like statistically. I don't know how to say what word that is, but like
I
it's the most. It has more statistics than any game out there. The way that
no
they do
doubt.
it, and but I have
So
no idea how they do it.
there's a team of them. I think
Yeah.
it's like they sit in a box
Okay.
just on level 2,
All right.
and I don't remember where I've seen the footage, but I've definitely seen the footage, and it's literally contested possession, P Crips, uncontested possession, XX, broken tackle, name. Like, so someone watches,
Yeah.
feeds to a team of people, and
Okay.
they roll with it. It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see this. I would like to see this happen because it just
Yeah,
kind of blows my mind. It's like,
yeah. It's
whoa.
actually, and it's when you think about it, it's high stakes to track the stats of the game. I would say even harder than umpiring the game because
Yeah.
you have so many stakeholders who rely on that information, like betting companies. So, like the
Yeah.
difference between someone having 19 possessions and 20 possessions is a big deal because there
Yeah.
is like a market that you bet on for 20 or more possessions. So
Okay.
and then it's like, how do you make every single statistic the right one every game? I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal. And speaking of unreal, those guys shared a stat with me that was crazy. And
Yeah.
forgive me because I'm gonna butcher it, but it was something to the effect that like the Eagles won more quarters in the last was it 6 or 8 games than any other team or something like that. Like it was some unbelievable stat that the Eagles like surpassed almost everybody like in
Wow.
this one stat that seemed outrageous. So I think
Do you,
Joey Montana, how do you say his
yeah.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he actually said it on a broadcast and they repeated it. But is that
Hmm.
crazy?
Do you think that's because I feel like the Eagles were getting blown out in one quarter most
Yeah.
games, and then the rest of the games they were just not letting the margin continue to blow out for the most part?
I that sounds accurate, but it still
Yeah.
seems like it seems hard to believe, basically.
Yeah.
But there was another show on we were watching yesterday that the guy was going over the stats and breaking down the games coming up this week and kind of giving his tips based on the stats, and that was kind of interesting. But I kind of had my, I was in the middle of something else, so I can't give you bad information on that one.
Yeah,
I'll skip that. I'll let you look it up.
fair. What is what's the biggest stadium in the US?
I
Like
don't
the
know.
the most popular one?
The most I don't think there is a most popular one because they everywhere. I'm going to look it up. Biggest.
I feel like Dallas would be the big dog.
I I don't think so. Football stadium we want. I better say football. I better. Oh my god. I gave a friend of mine called today and she's like, "I know you're doing this show and I haven't had a chance to watch it. And what's it all about?" And I said, "It's about Australian football." She
Hmm.
said, "Oh, soccer?" And I said, "No, it's not soccer." And, we went through that whole thing. And then she goes, "Oh, so it's like American football." I said, "No, it's not like American football." I was like, it's its own thing. Like, people cannot wrap their head around that it's its own thing. And you can literally tell them directly it's its own thing and they still can't figure it out. It's so funny. I wish I could have had her on camera. 'Cause I was like, "You're exactly the person I'd like to make fun of on my
Hmm.
show." Okay, here, list of American football stadiums by capacity.
Right.
Okay. So the biggest one it's a college stadium, Michigan Stadium, 107,000 people.
So that
So
doesn't have a roof, right?
I don't think so. Let me look.
I think
Nope,
I've seen the videos.
no
Yeah, it's just
roof.
like this open air.
I don't think you
Yeah,
can see it. Can you see it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's the biggest stadium, but it's funny. I'm going through them, and like the Cotton Bowl is the Dallas Stadium. That one's like 92,000. So that's way
Mm.
down on the list.
They just
Way down.
redeveloped that, I feel, as well.
I don't know. They're always having to fix them. The Rose Bowl here is almost 90,000. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
The Rose Bowl is really lovely. When you come visit, we'll go to the Rose Bowl. Well,
absolutely. Oh, I want to show you
you
something.
come in off season, then we can go to American football games, and then I have to come there during the season,
Yeah,
and then
check
it'll
this
all
out.
work out. Yeah. Oh, your pins. I love.
Yeah,
When
but
do I
like,
get mine?
what's it? What's it? I'll send you a pin. I got them yesterday. Um, this is the MCG. I went and did a little photo shoot with the
Oh,
pins.
in the background. I can
Yeah,
see it. Okay, I was
yeah,
in
yeah.
the way. I
So
love the little touch of the fall leaf.
you see,
Gives it a little oomph. Yeah, and it looks
I
really
actually
nice
had
against
the
the green.
pin. I had the pin pinned to the leaf because it wouldn't sit right. So I pinned it to the leaf and another leaf, and then just oh
You're so
yeah,
creative. You're so smart.
yeah.
By the way, somebody questioned me on
Mhm.
on your comments about rake. And apparently it was like changed Australian television. I was going to send you this article and then I got sidetracked, but
Rake.
yeah, that show was telling you about with the lawyer with the wigs and the whole thing. And somebody in the comments was like, "I have never." And I was like, it was a big deal. It was a very big deal. I ask you to check it out, people. Look it up.
Check it
You
out.
won't be
Rake.
disappointed as long as you turn it off before season 4. You'll be good.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So what else
So
was on your mind today?
on my mind. Well, I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about your boy Toby.
Tobes.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
last week he was given the cap. He was All Australian
Oh,
captain.
it was a
Um,
lovely week. Yeah.
and I want to give Toby some credit
Oh, good.
because after the game, the Blues game,
Yeah.
he threw Jacob Wiedering under the bus, as we would say. Um,
Okay.
and then he came out and apologized for it
Aw.
and owned it. And I just think it just caps off um, the whole villain arc turned mature arc. And I think the villain arc for Toby Green's officially over.
I really think it is. I mean, I think like and I saw him being interviewed by, I don't know, it was David King and all those guys. And he said something like, "Oh yeah, well, I probably brought on all that bad stuff, I brought it on myself. And I'm like, it's a very humble position to take, to just own that you've made your mistakes and, you're moving on from it. But let's talk about Toby 2.0
Yep.
with him being kept out of the game. Like, I don't know, something smells rotten to me. Your
Wait,
thoughts?
what are we talking about? Kept out of the
Toby
game?
Bedford got a
Oh,
week for that bump, basically, that it seems like 99% of the people talking about it disagree that he did anything wrong. And yet he is, as of now, being kept out of a finals game. I'm wondering if like he had a different name and he was on a different team. I mean, am I getting paranoid?
no, you are right. You are right. And
Right?
I was baffled by it because there was a bump a few weeks earlier, which was a clear bump. I think the player was initially offered a few weeks and then he got off. It was thrown out or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a few things. Even Zach Fisher, the Carlton player who gave evidence, which was also a new phenomenon, the actual victim giving evidence.
Oh,
But
he
his
had to
evidence was,
speak?
well, yeah, he I guess they asked him and he offered his time, maybe because it was during the week and we had the finals by
Okay,
whatever.
that makes sense because I saw something about with his quotes, but I didn't realize
Yeah.
like he had to like take the stand or whatever.
Yeah. So I thought what Fisher said was because there's a players' code, they kind of protect each other in the tribunal. They don't like to dob on each other. And
Okay.
I thought Fish said all the right things to get Toby off. Okay, yeah, he bumped him late, but it wasn't like Fisher was injured. He kept playing. He got
Yeah.
the ball not long after. I
Yeah.
think it's bullshit, and I think had his name been a little bit more of a figurehead type name, he would have gotten off. But isn't that
Like
the world?
Degoe or something like that, they wouldn't have even considered it, right? I mean, nobody on Carlton would have got
Well,
thrown
Toby
out
Green.
last minute.
Toby Green gave a little love tap with his fist. Didn't get cited.
Uh, you
Uh,
know, I still don't believe it. Some guy said he heard it from some guy said he heard it from like the nosebleeds. I'm like, really? Really? Did you hear it? I don't know. Um anyway, that was there. I guess they're still going to try to has it been settled? The Toby Bedford
yeah,
thing or
he's done. He's gone.
oh, that's all
It's
right. We
really
don't
it's
even
really
need him.
unfair. I actually think it is unfair, but also
Yeah.
the world's unfair, and there is a
Yes.
superstar rule. It exists, and it
Yeah.
exists in all sports, and it is what it is.
Yeah, that's all right. We don't need him. We
No,
meaning the
well, I
giant
think you do.
fans.
He's pretty good.
No, he's great, but I mean, it's like one player does not make a team. So there are other
Mm,
people that will rise up and take care of
yeah,
business. You know what I mean? So,
absolutely.
yeah.
What about your
What about
thoughts on you saw the Brody Grundy situation?
scandalous?
Scandalous.
Scandalous.
Is it?
It's I isn't it? Apparently, he's meeting with Port Adelaide this week while his team's about to go into finals and possibly play Port Adelaide. Like, I don't know. It seems dodgy. It seems like bad. I mean, maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine. What do I know? I'm an American. What do I know? But it just seems a little like, can't this wait like 4 weeks? Can't you have this conversation when it's all said and done? Because let's just say that Melbourne's playing Port Adelaide and Brody Grundy is in the ruck and he's having a shit day. Is he throwing the game? Is he, you know what I mean? Like it brings up a lot
Yeah.
of questions. Like it just,
Hmm.
I don't know. And don't get me wrong, like I actually like Brody Grundy. Like he looks like a friend of mine, so we always call him Jesse. But so I break into
Shout
Jesse.
out,
That's what I'm
Jesse.
talking about. But yeah, and I feel bad for him too because I kind of feel like what a waste of a year for him. But I don't know. I mean, how are you feeling about it?
I think this is the first time a situation like that has happened, and it's been so public,
Yeah,
especially with two teams that are still playing in the season and they're alive.
yeah,
And I think because he's got a 3-year deal with
Okay.
Melbourne, and it was if you go back to like season predictions, the whole competition was like we're all fucked. Brody Grundy and Max Gorn, no one's going to
Right.
be able to figure it out. And I feel like they've probably told Brody that he's not going to play the minutes in the ruck that he probably wants to because they're going to go with Max Gorn.
Right. Yeah.
I think they probably would have promised him more ruck time at the time that they signed him, and I think Melbourne have kind of allowed it to be public because they've probably told him that there's no spot in the team for him when Max Gorn is there.
Yeah.
Um, I thought they would name him tonight when they're playing
Mm.
Collingwood, and Grundy, has a bit of an emotional edge against Collingwood. And I thought they would have named him. And so now that
Yeah.
they haven't named him, I just think that both parties are just understanding that it's not going to work and he's just
Yeah.
not going to be there.
Wow. The other thing, like I saw today, Shane McAdams from Adelaide is requesting to be traded.
Yep.
And I get that Adelaide's not in the finals, but I don't know. I kind of it all sits funny with me. Like and I can't compare this to anything because honestly, I don't think I've ever paid attention to any of the drafts and the trading in US sports, right? So it's all completely new to me as a concept, but
Right.
it's like I kind of feel like it should just like all of this stuff should just wait until after the season's over because it just like okay, so let's say McAdams talks to Carlton and he would be someone who would potentially be replacing someone in Carlton. And now maybe that guy's worrying a little bit and not focusing on the games at hand. And he's thinking, oh shit, like this guy plays the same position of me. Do I have to, should I be worried? Like it's distracting. Even if your team
Yeah.
isn't actually in the competition, I still feel like it's distracting from like, we still got 4 weeks left here, right? I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
it's normal, but it just seems weird.
So in the NBA, they introduced more heavy regulation of this sort of stuff. Like they got
Oh, did they?
tampering rules. You
Okay.
can't even, as a player or a coach, you can't even praise an opposition player in a certain way because it would be viewed as tampering because
Mm,
and so
yeah.
there's that end, and then there's the AFL, and then there's the rugby. So in the NRL, in the rugby here, it's part of the culture. Melbourne will play Penrith in round 10, and there may be a player moving from Melbourne to Penrith the next year, and they already know, and both clubs have
Uh,
agreed, and it's just part of the sport. So it's like, I think the AFL is still pretty green and like
yeah.
raw. And also think about it, like if you're a player manager and your job is to get your client to X club. If you're Grundy's agent,
Yeah.
it's like everyone knows each other. All the agents and the clubs, they
Yeah.
deal with each other. They have multiple players that they represent. And
Right?
so they're already in conversation. So whether we pretend like they're not having those conversations or not is, I don't know where I
Yes.
sit with it,
I
because
understand that.
I do feel like there's an element of, can we just wait to report on it until the season ends? I do get that,
Yeah.
but I think it happens anyway. Like they're all friends. They're all trying to pitch
But
each
at
other to
least
get to the
like if it's
club.
behind like if it's going on behind the scenes, it's a little less like public and then maybe it slips out, but it's not like on my Instagram feed. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like it's like it's really making a statement. And I don't know. I didn't think much about it until actually I saw the Shane McAdams, right? Until I
Yep.
saw that one today. And then on the heels of the Brody Grundy thing, I started to have an opinion. For right or wrong, I started to have feelings about it.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
know what it does? It means that Melbourne are not fully aligned, and there may be a little crack somewhere, and maybe it's something
Mm,
that can be exploited.
maybe that's right. Um,
Hmm.
there was something else that you just made me think of. I was going to ask you about. Oh no, it's just I was thinking about apparently like the Bulldogs manager was doing some kind of holdout for Aaron Naughton and Tim, big guy. What's the big guy? Ruxin.
English?
English, yeah. And that was like a whole thing. I don't know if that's been resolved yet. I haven't tuned back into that, but they were kind of like they've got the same manager, and they were kind of like holding them, holding them hostage from, maybe that's not the right word, but ransom would probably be a better word. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you're following that story at all, but that one seemed kind of like a little like possibly diabolical, but I'll have to get
Yep.
back to that one next week.
Have you seen Show Me the Money,
Yes.
the
Yes.
AFL doco series?
No, no, I'm thinking of the I'm thinking of the
You're
Tom
thinking of
Cruise
Tom
movie,
Cruise, of
Jerry
course you are.
Maguire.
So,
No, Show Me the Money is an AFL documentary.
so it's on Stan, and they've
Okay.
done 2 seasons. And basically, what they do is it's behind the scenes in the negotiations for with all the player
Ooh.
agents and the players and the clubs, but it doesn't air until like round one of the following year. So the footage is
Oh.
all 6 months old or whatever the
Okay.
case is. I think watch it because there's like 2 or 3 agencies here that just have. I think there's one agency that has 40% of the league in its portfolio.
Right. Okay.
Um, so it's not really an even spread of
I see.
agents.
I'll
Yeah,
check it out. So that means there has already been a season that has aired. So I could
two.
try to go back 2 seasons.
Yeah. So
Fantastic. I'm
if you
going to check it
go
out.
season one,
Yeah.
Bobby Hill.
Of course. Yeah.
So season
Bobby.
one was Bobby Hill requesting a trade out of GWS, and then they agreed, but it didn't go through for whatever reason. So we had to go back to the club, and then in season two he requested again, and then he got out. So it follows.
Ah.
Yeah,
That whole thing. Oh, hold
yeah.
on. We have a cat.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
say
who is
hello,
that?
everybody. This is Leonard. Hello, Leonard.
Leonard the cat.
All right. Like, surprised we lasted that long without either one of them jumping up here.
Beautiful.
Um. All right. So trades, we did that. What else is on your mind,
Let's talk about the
Leonard?
game. Maybe Leonard wants to get some predictions in.
Leonard, do you have stuff to say? God. Which game are we talking about now?
Well, let's do a prediction for each game. Let's start
Okay.
with tonight, Thursday night football,
Okay.
Melbourne, Collingwood.
Well, I'm gonna stick with Collingwood. I know it's wet, and I think that is going to be more of an advantage to Collingwood.
Hmm.
I think their chaos game is a bit better than the Demons game. But and yeah, I mean low scoring, of course, right? Because that's what happens. But even most of the Demons games, I think, have been pretty low scoring.
Yeah.
But I think Collingwood's going to win. And let's see if I have to pick a random number, which is really all I'm doing, is I'm going to say 2 goals by 12.
I like it. I
Yeah,
like it.
that's what I'm going for.
I have said Melbourne all week, and then
Yeah,
for some reason, I woke up today and I'm like, I'm not getting lulled into the last few weeks of Collingwood.
yeah,
They already, sewn up top spot. They're the best
yeah,
team all year,
yeah.
clearly. So having said that, I'm going to tip Melbourne,
Okay. By how much?
like 4 points.
Okay. All
Yeah, I
right.
think
So
it's going to
close
be super
game.
close.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my God. A nail biter.
The
Awesome.
Blues tomorrow. Are we just going to lock them in, or
Yeah. I mean, oh, do you want a number? I already said I think
no? No, you can
they'll
just
beat.
whoever's going to win. Who you think?
Yeah.
I think you said
Definitely. I would definitely put my money on the Blues for
okay.
sure. Yeah.
Um, Brisbane, Port Adelaide at the Gabba.
All right. I'm going to say something radical. I think Port Adelaide is going to win. And I understand that this is insane because nobody wins at the GABA, but I think they're going to win at the GABA.
Yeah.
I know you like Port Adelaide too, but I think they're going to do it. I just think it's going to I don't know, man. That those three guys, Butters and Rosie's and Horn, I just think they're going to be on fire. I don't know.
I
We'll
like
see.
it. No, no, I don't think it's too radical. I mean, it's radical in the sense of yes, of course, the Gabba's a fortress, but
Statistically, yeah.
I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the Lions. I'm just going to say
No.
it.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
in
You don't
to
watch them
win the
like thinking
whole
they're,
thing.
yeah.
I, I,
No, I
I
don't
just
see
think
it.
Joe Danaher and Hipwood are
Yeah,
good. They're very good. But
yeah,
like, I'd be so frustrated if I was a Brisbane supporter and they were my forwards because they just, I don't know. I don't want to,
yeah.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just not a believer.
No, it's like, because I've watched a fair bit of Brisbane play, and I never feel confident. I never feel confident. Like, it's just sometimes you watch a game and you're just like, oh yeah, they're gonna kill them. But Brisbane, I'm just always like, and
Yeah.
yeah, like usually when you say, oh, it's at the Gabba, then you go, oh, all right, Brisbane's gonna win, right? It's sort of like this no brainer throwaway that they'll win. But I don't know. I just feel like Port is gonna bring it, and
I'm with you. All
yeah,
right.
it'd be
I'll
yeah.
tip Port. Fuck it.
Fuck
I'll
it.
tip
Why
Port.
not?
And then
Uh-huh.
oh,
Yeah.
it's huge. St Kilda and the Giants.
Giants. The Giants. It's
I
all orange.
think
All
so.
orange. I think St. Kilda is in trouble.
I think
Sorry, Eric.
this is the I think just being here is
Yeah.
just amazing for St Kilda,
Yeah.
and this is the beauty, the best part of St Kilda and the worst part of St Kilda, unfortunately, is that sometimes you're just the B side, not the A side.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because everybody says like, "Oh, they're boring," and they kind of are boring. And then I think because they're boring, sometimes you dismiss like that they're good.
Yeah, they're
Maybe,
good.
maybe you know what I mean because they're like less exciting than the other teams. But look, if GWS turns up like they did against you guys last time, forget it.
Yeah,
Forget it. It's gonna be
yeah.
they're just done. Done
Thing
deal.
about the Giants, and this is where I think they have an advantage in the finals series as a whole, is
Yeah.
that it's not like it's not like their senior players are like at the last legs of their career. Like they've got finals experience, the
Yep.
Kellys, Cornelios, Whitfields, these ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've had finals experience. They've made prelims. They've made the grand final. Obviously, lost pretty badly a few years ago,
Yeah.
and so like they've got the experience of finals,
Yeah.
and now they've got this like injection of these youthful players, these new guys
Yeah.
who have just turned it on.
Yeah.
Um, but St Kilda have Ross Lyon, and that man knows how to coach.
Okay, so speaking of Ross Lyon,
Mm.
who is going to be coach of the year? Is it going to be Adam Kingsley or is it going to be Ross Lyon?
Why isn't it going to be Michael Voss? Sorry.
How stupid of me. Okay, if it's not Vossi, is it going to be Adam or is it going to be Ross?
That's like asking me if Collingwood and Melbourne don't play the game tonight, then who's going to win? It's like
Well, come
I think
on. Don't you guys have we don't have it, but don't you guys have when you vote like 1, 2, 3? Do you have that there?
I
Where like if your
think
first one doesn't get it, the vote goes to the second one. Do you have that
yeah,
kind
I
of voting?
think something similar.
Yeah, so give me 1, 2, 3, and then you can't lose. So Vossi won.
I think Voss won only because of what he actually overcame in the season to get to the point where they are.
Okay.
I think Ross Lyon number.
No.
Oh no, you can't because Kingsley took a brand new team. They were.
Yeah, they won like what 3 games, 6 games last year. And look at them now. Look at them now in
But
finals. First.
then you also have to factor in Ken Hinkley because they won 13 games in a row. Like that's a big deal.
Nobody's talking about Hinkley. Nobody.
No one
No, it's
cares.
true. Nobody's talking about Ken. No offense, but
Nah, listen,
yeah.
It's Voss because Carlton is. Do you understand like the club that we are? Like we are just the draw card of everything. We are the sleeping giant. We've just and we used
Stronger
to talk like
Together, by the way, was the election campaign thing for, I think, Biden when he
Was it
won.
really?
I think so. Stronger together.
That's funny you say that because,
Yeah.
there's a photo of Biden at a Carlton game many years ago, at the MCG. We played the Eagles actually,
Ah,
and he wore the number that we presented him the number 9. Oh, mate, you've just prophesized the season.
okay. Somehow Biden
Sleepy
is this
Joe.
time.
Sleepy Joe,
I
love it.
swear. I mean, am I wrong? Somebody will tell me if I'm wrong. I just feel like that every day, because our election cycles are like 4 years. I mean, I'm joking. They're like literally 2 years from the second,
Mhm,
I mean, leading up to the presidency. So, but I feel like it was Stronger Together was being like rammed down our throats for like 2 years.
mhm.
But I like
Now
it.
look,
I like it for you. It's a good look for you
yeah,
guys.
it's good. Do you like my finals tee?
I do. Is it what? Is it like a hands out like this?
Hands out like this.
Okay, because I noticed it on some. Sorry, I'm looking at it. Yes, because I saw it on your story. And it was
Mhm.
one girl was really cute because she was like holding it here, but it looked like she was actually holding her boob. It was kind of funny. But but yeah, I like it. It's simple, understated. It's
Yeah,
good. Is it blue though, or is it black?
black.
Black.
So,
Oh, by the way, this is gonna sound really stupid, but those blazers we were discussing last week,
yep.
they were dark green, of green and gold. That's your country's color, right?
That's another interesting topic. So the
Yeah.
the flag is blue, white, and red, but like when we
Okay.
have sporting events, we are the green and gold. I don't know how. I actually don't know the reason why.
It's all very weird. It's just another
Well, this is
wonderful thing about
Australia.
your
We are a
country.
little bit. We're a little bit like it's like, oh, they're really cool, but we don't know why they do most of the things that they do or say most of the things that they say.
And at the end of the day, who really cares, right? It
Well,
keeps it fun. You guys are
we're all
fun.
we're all weird in our own way, right?
Yes, that is definitely for sure. And if you're not, then you need to get weird. You heard it
Correct.
here,
I used to
folks.
think America was like America. And then I think the older I got, the more I realized, what the fuck is going on over there?
That's a whole other show.
That is another
We
show.
could
That is
spend
another show.
weeks on that show. Yeah, the
Yeah.
shit show that is America. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, how do we get more Americans watching this game? Like, what's the starting point? Because right now it's at 0.
I you know, I don't know cuz even that same friend I was having that conversation with today. I was trying to just like explain it a little to her and like me, we met in college and like me she likes football, college football, but she doesn't really have a taste for it now as like as she's getting older. And she said, "Oh, but I really love basketball." And I go, "Well, I think you might like Australian rules, easily if you like basketball because it has the same kind of movement and flow. I mean, but and I try to explain everything to her. But I honestly just think it's about being able to see it, right? And if you can't see it, then you're not going to know. I think if people could get their eyeballs on it easily, they would be e- extremely interested right away. Like one of the guys, somebody wrote me and said they were here visiting and they were not too far from where I live and they were out in a little park and they had a footy with them and they were like kicking the footy around and then people started gathering and wondering what they were doing and then at one point they were trying to show them what the what, what is it when they climb up on the back to get the
A
mark.
specky? A hanger?
Specky, yeah, that's right. We talked about it. And they were trying to do it. And he said, like, after about 4 tries, he said, luckily he's kind of like small in size and he was able to do it off the back of his friend. And they were just like applauding and going crazy, right? So I think it's like if Americans could actually see it, they
Yeah.
would love it. And even like, we had the documentary making their mark on
Yep.
Amazon, right? Which was great. I actually queued it up to rewatch it. But I don't know if anyone saw it. Like I don't know how Amazon, I mean obviously I was like, "Oh, this is, I knew what it was, but I don't know how well it did, but I just feel like if you can get eyeballs on it, this is a total tangent, but so I had to pick up some dry cleaning today,
Yeah.
and you know how like they press the button and the thing circles around, and this blue shirt went passing by me, and it said bets, and I went. And then like it kept going, and it wasn't navy though. It was like a bright, like more like an Eagles blue, but it said bets. I was like, Eddie Betts, that's amazing. Just
Hey.
wait. Maybe that's another sign for you. I don't know.
Yep.
It was
I've
weird, right?
we've hacked your life algorithm. That's what we've done.
That's it, the Matrix. But no, I think it's eyeballs. I think the Mason Cox 60-minute episode aired again a couple days ago, Sunday, I guess. I got 3 or 4 phone calls from people about that. Like, oh,
Okay,
they saw it. So I think that actually has brought a lot of attention. So maybe you guys recruit some more Americans. I mean, you got the Irish contingency. Maybe you need a few more high profile Americans to play the
for sure.
sport. Although I'm hesitant to say that's a good idea
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm going to be so hated for this. So I feel like the Irishmen are a perfect fit like
Yep.
for Aussie rules, right? They just blend right in. But like Americans stand out. They stand out and they
It's
stand
such
out
a
and not,
foreign
not in a
movement.
great yeah, like
Yeah.
not in a great way. Like that like we're number one. That kind of like I don't know how else to say it, but like Mason Cox has so much of that energy. Like he's so American to me, even though he has a crazy accent now. He's so
Yeah.
American to me, and I don't know if I'd like want to watch. I mean, people are like, "Well, shut up, you damn American! We don't want to hear you talking right now."
No, I get it. I get
You
it.
know what I mean? But I
It's
think that might be it. I mean, getting more Americans playing the sport might
yeah. It's
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm jumping all over the
no.
place. I was going to say there's a lot of Australian players playing football now,
Yes.
and they're kickers. And they always mention that they played Australian football, but I don't think they're popular enough to, you know what I mean? Shift the interest.
The Irish already move like AFL footballers because of Gaelic football.
Yeah.
Australians already move like a punter because they kick.
Yeah.
But Americans don't do anything from birth that resembles the movement of Aussie rules. That's
Right.
why Mason Cox, to be honest, the fact that he's
Yeah.
made it this far is remarkable considering his
Yeah.
height. Do you
Yeah.
remember 2018?
Vaguely. What
So
aspect?
the aspect
The Eagles
of
winning the premiership? Is that what we're talking about? Oh no,
yeah,
that's not what you're
but
talking about.
in the final, it might have been the semi or the qualifying,
Uh
Richmond
huh.
and Collingwood. Richmond were clearly the better team all year, I believe, from memory. And Mason Cox just like emerged in the final, marked everything, kicked 4 goals in the final. It was the Mason Cox day.
I feel like I only remember this because I think they talked about it on 60 Minutes. I don't think I
Yeah,
was watching
yeah,
those teams as closely in 2018.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we needed Coxzilla to just get better, and he
Yeah.
kind of did. Yeah. He's all right. He's all right. He's all right.
It's a little like you can see he's like a little, for lack of a better word, clumsy. Like there's stuff like when he goes up in the ruck, like his knees don't like come up in the same way or they get in the way. I mean,
Just
he's
arms
a
and legs, just
yeah, oh, he's a big boy. I mean, he's a big boy, but yeah, he's an interesting one. He's an
he
interesting
is.
one.
He is.
Yeah, but
Um,
what about so speaking of him though, what about this whole idea that you need 2 rucks? Do you think
I
it's
think
nonsense?
no, I don't think it's nonsense. I think there are certain games where it works and certain games where it doesn't. I
Yeah,
think no matter what, one or both of them need to have some level of forward craft for it to work.
yeah,
Otherwise, you're just playing with two lumbering ruckmen.
yeah, yeah. But can't you just throw someone else in there and give them the break they need? Like, isn't that what most of the teams are doing now anyway? Like,
You, you could, you
I
could.
mean, I don't know. The ruck is the most confusing position for me, honestly. I was watching old footage though of Nick Nat as best, and he actually was tapping the ball to like two players, and I thought, yeah,
Yes.
that's like you actually tapped it to someone. But how often do you actually see them tapping it to somebody? It's like tap and tap and
And
pray,
pray.
you know?
Well, Carlton have this really funny situation where we have two ruckmen. One of
Yeah.
them is only good at tap rucking.
Okay.
35% of his taps go to a player, which is a really big percentage.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do much else around the
Mm.
ground. And then
Okay.
you've got Tom, who's the athletic Nick Nat type that can
This
jump
is
over people.
deconing or
Deconing, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you could merge the two of them into one, well, you actually
Yeah.
get Nick Nat. That's actually what you get. That's what you
Wow.
get. He's that good. He was that. I can't believe I'm talking about him in past tense like he's retired. He was that good.
Yeah, really, really exciting. And again, I kind of paid attention later in his days where
Yep.
I think somebody told me he played 66 games in the last 6 years or something horrible like that, you know?
Yep.
So I've really been watching like hardcore while he's been injured most of the time. So like going back and watching some of those old games now, oh my God. He was so
Yeah.
good. He was so
Took him for
good.
granted. I didn't appreciate him as much in the time.
Yeah.
Um, Pretty much when I met him, that's when I really felt the gravity of him. But that was
Yeah.
2018 when he was injured. And then I was like, oh, yeah, you are
Mm.
pretty good.
Well, at least you came around.
I did.
Yeah, you saw the
I
light.
did.
Alrighty then.
All right.
So,
I think
any
that's
do you have
enough.
any names for me today, or are we over that?
I don't think I have the right to give you any name. I think I have to, after my
No,
behavior.
I meant fun names like
Oh, you want like slang? Yeah, yeah.
slang. Do
Actually,
you have
I
any
do.
slang?
Does it have to be football related?
Nah,
Okay,
I don't.
great.
Okay,
I had a few.
okay.
Um, okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready. Bring it.
Um,
Da 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 da. Da, 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 da.
no, no, no. Oh, if I said to you, Cindy, we're going to
Yeah,
go to the big smoke, where are we going?
the big smoke. Oh, I'm gonna kick myself for this one. The big smoke. It sounds like a game. It sounds like a like it would be like a championship game.
Okay.
Is it?
The big
Big
smoke
smoke.
is like a large city. So New York, the big smoke.
Okay. Big smoke.
Yep.
Okay, that's a new one.
If I said to you, I know someone that is a banana bender, where are they from?
Where are they from? I can't. There's no good answer. There's no good answer for this one from me. what
Okay.
is what
So
is
a
it?
banana bender is somebody from Queensland.
And why?
I don't make the
Why?
rules, Cindy. I
Oh,
don't make the rule.
that can't be good. Like that sounds like something that's going to be 86 in no time. No
Probably.
time. Probably. Okay.
Um, what
Banana
about if you
bender.
and I go and drink some piss? What are we doing?
Oh, beer. We're drinking beer.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
that to be the most ridiculous thing. Um, and then no. There was one more. I have this written down here.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Nah. Nah. Yeah.
Yeah, nah? Yeah. Um, how would you describe a bogan? This isn't the one I had, but how would you describe a bogan?
Oh, so I would say a bogan is like our equivalent to a redneck. It's a
Yes.
bogan is like maybe a little not definitely not city, maybe a little trashy,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little right
Mm-hmm.
bogans. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, redneck is probably the best way to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's the equivalency right there.
Yep. Okay. If I'm going for a Captain Cook, what am I doing?
Oh, Oh, this is a rhyming one. This is a rhyming one. I know this
Yes,
one.
yes. Okay, very good.
I know this one. Captain Cook something Snook. What is it? Oh, I know this one. Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
Captain Cook. Yes, it rhymes with cook.
Okay. Can I phone a friend? Captain Cook. Captain Cook. Oh, I'm gonna kick myself when you tell me this one because I've actually have heard this one, but you
Well,
have to
what
tell
did
me.
Captain Cook do? What was Captain Cook's?
He was a explorer, right? Didn't he?
Yes, and
Right?
part of exploring means you have to have a
A ship, a boat,
yes in order for you to have a
to have a look, to have
yes.
a. So wait, Captain. What was the first part? Captain.
So we're gonna go and have a Captain Cook at the
Oh, you're gonna have
Blues
a
tomorrow
look.
night.
You're gonna have a
We're gonna have
look.
a look.
You're gonna have a
Yeah.
look. That's right. Okay. I knew that one, but yeah, okay. In
All right, one
context,
more.
I probably would have got it.
All right, one more.
All right,
Knowing
one
that,
more.
knowing the mechanism to get there. If I'm saying to you, Cindy, what's the John Dory?
Oh, John John Dory, that's another like a lorry, like a truck, like a is that wait, John Dory? Oh shit. The story. What's the story? It's the story. I got it. That's right. I knew
Love
that
it.
one too. I've been
Love it.
around people.
Been around the traps.
I
This
may be
one.
newer to football, but I do have a minor degree in Australian language.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
we'll learn a lot about a lot of things the more we
yes,
talk, I think.
I think so. Yeah,
So
and hopefully we'll continue our relationship, and you won't stand me up again.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was in the wrong. I have no excuse other than I was disorganized and it
I
won't happen
forgive you.
again.
I forgive
Thank
you.
you.
I promise I won't bring it up again until next week.
Yes. Cindy, it's been real.
Yes.
I'll see you next week when the Blues have won a final, mate.
Hey man, I'm gonna say break a leg, as an actor would say, because you don't want to say the other word. So break a leg, and
All right.
I look forward to talking to you next week. Hopefully, both have happy weekends.
Go Blues.
Yay!